Second Cup, brought to you by the Nickel Plate. Sit, sip, savor, and shop.
Good morning, everyone. It's 8 o'clock on the start of your Wednesday morning. Glad you're with us for Second Cup.
Rigid Wednesday.
Yeah, hello. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling.
You're feeling 22?
I knew that was coming. Oh my god. The temperature's almost below 22.
Well, okay, it's well below 22. Some places have temperatures like in sub-zero digits. Like,
I don't want to be dramatic, but like this is like the worst morning I've had in a long time. Like, it was
tough.
Horrible.
Well, it's the first time we've been this cold in about 6 years. I have the camera of the 90 between the 290 and Transit up. There's an accident, and it really just kind of shows you how cold it is. If we can get that, who's producing?
It's John, but
Johnny?
We can't take the storyteller.
You cannot take the storyteller. Oh, so he's got to do it manually.
Exactly.
Okay, he'll pop that up. I do have the temperatures up, like you mentioned, below zero. And here in Buffalo, 3 degrees below zero right now. That's just the air temperature. Anytime the wind kicks up, it makes it feel much, much colder. 10 degrees below zero in Jamestown, 17 below in Bradford. It is obviously frigid out there. We look at Akron, 6 below, Oakfield, 7 below. Same thing with Bennington, Wales, 6 below, Orchard Park, 4 degrees below zero. And now we'll head across the southern tier and look at how cold it is south of Buffalo. Jamestown, 10 below. Steenburg, 15 degrees below zero. Elegantville, you're going to hit the slopes today. Obviously, dress warmly.
Oh my God,
11 degrees below zero in Elegantville. And Belfast, 7 below. It is frigid out there. Rushford, 8 below. Machias, 9 below. Bolivar, 7 below. So there's no escaping this cold here in Western New York this morning.
Do people go skiing in this kind of weather?
Can you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the technology now with how warm you can stay.
Oh my God.
Sure. I mean, you got fresh powder and you're probably the only person on the slope.
Yeah.
Sounds perfect.
The last place I would be. This is the real feel. And that is insane to see that in Jamestown, we're talking like, if freezing is 32, we're talking it's almost like that. Right. Do you know what I mean? Like, what's the word I'm looking for here? It's the inverse, right?
Extreme cold. Yeah. About 58 degrees below.
That is so crazy.
Yeah. Yes, it certainly is. 26 degrees below zero. That's what it feels like in Jamestown. 16 below right now in Buffalo.
When you put it into perspective that way, 58 degrees below freezing.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that cold?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I all summer long when it's warm, I stand out there and I go, oh, how lucky am I to feel warmth right now, to be in shorts, to be in a t-shirt, and to just enjoy my life, because I know that come winter, it gets a little cold. And, we're used to teens, 20s, all that stuff. But this is just getting me completely out of my element. I absolutely hate everything that's going on. And I don't want to be the Debbie Downer, but I can't wait for 30 degrees.
This weekend, we'll be back near 30. It's going to feel so nice. Yeah, so 26 degrees below zero. They have snow in North Florida this morning. There's a blizzard warning in New Orleans. I've seen a lot of things that are like, hey, New Orleans getting ready for the Bills Super Bowl with the snow coming down.
Well, that's what you want to
And
see.
there's a view of the 90 right there going westbound between Transit and the 290. The right lane is blocked due to an accident blocking the right shoulder. So looks like they're working on the accident, but it's a slow go in that area right now.
Okay, so can we talk quickly?
Sure.
This is historic cold in the fact that we haven't had cold like this since 2019, and that's 6 years ago. That's a long time ago.
Yeah, February 1st.
What's the give here?
Well, we had El Nino for the last several years, and then we kind of transitioned to a La Nina. You had that polar vortex, that cold air up in the poles. Really didn't have a chance to come down over the last few years. This year, with the transition back to La Nina, we talked about that colder air would start to push across the Great Lakes and even down to the Gulf Coast, and that's exactly what's happening. It's end of January. Climatologically, this is the coldest time of the year. So it is winter, and it's the coldest time of the year. And Mother Nature says, hey, it's the coldest time of the year. Let's show you.
Well, that's kind of what Russ has been saying. Like, this is a good old-fashioned Buffalo winter. Like,
yes,
it's cold, it's snowy, but we don't have like those major snowstorms that we've seen over the last couple of years.
Yeah, we don't have that one, like the blizzard. We don't have that one major outbreak, especially now with the lake getting colder. Lake's at 33, but it's 58% ice covered. So we're going to start to lose a lot of that moisture. Now, even when the Lake Erie is 100% ice covered, you still can get a little bit of lake effect snow, but nothing like it would be if the lake were wide open.
Rose saying that she'll be in her bathing suit
When
we
it's 30
celebrate.
degrees.
Right, exactly.
The shorts will be back
I
out.
guarantee people will. Like,
Oh,
there's always
they have their
that-
shirts off at the Bills game, even when
Yeah.
it's still
Right.
20 degrees. A bunch of people also talking about what we're seeing right now, which is Bourbon Street and the
Oh.
South getting blanketed with a little bit of snow. They
that
had
is
10 inches
crazy.
in parts of Louisiana. You're looking live right now at Bourbon Street. You can see some of those roads closed. The sidewalks have snow there. Normally, there's people enjoying, having a good time, nice weather. Not so much today.
yeah, this is
Look
not the
at
day that you
that.
want to be that flasher on Bourbon Street looking for beads.
No, I'd be layered up. I would be layered up, Edward. Yeah.
Oh my God, you're not getting a lot of beats.
Cough over here, big guy, so we can all get sick.
Sorry, I'm trying really hard.
The poor flasher on Bourbon Street.
Yes, we made him laugh,
She's
everybody.
getting a day off. She's getting
Yes,
a day off.
that
The flashers.
was hysterical.
Oh,
So yeah, New Orleans, a lot of snow, and like I
Florida
s-
too, Pensacola.
yeah, Pensacola,
They got
North
like 7
Florida.
inches.
You're looking to escape the cold. There's really there are just a few
There's nowhere
places
to
to go.
go.
Yeah.
Rose
yeah.
says-
Michael says we have snow there.
Yeah, and Rose says her lab barely made it out the door to go to the bathroom.
And you can see her
Yeah,
lab
like,
there.
Can we talk
Yeah,
about that?
the
The
pets,
dogs.
that's
and
important.
Yeah, you have to be so careful. Like little Gladys can't handle this.
I'd imagine. I wish she weighed 8 pounds.
12, but
Oh,
yeah,
she's up to 12.
yeah, she's a
Taller.
baby. You know what I mean?
My dog's 32 pounds and she still can't handle it. We're doing like a couple minutes at a time and the paws are coming up. She's not having
Oh,
like,
I
oh my
bet.
gosh. And like she just doesn't understand that like it's gonna get to a point where this hurts.
Yeah, but and Katie's dog, Bandit, he's like 100 pounds, and she even said he doesn't like to go outside. Some dogs, they're covered in fur, they enjoy this cold, but most want to get out, get back in, and if you are leaving, you're leaving your dog water, that's going to freeze up very, very quickly. So make sure that they have some food and some shelter if you have to leave them outside.
Okay, so speaking of being frozen, the lake has more ice on it now than it did the last couple of days. Obviously,
Even yesterday was 38%. Today's 58%.
That's great.
So if you don't want lake effect snow, you want the lake to be completely frozen. Even at 100% ice coverage, you will still get a little moisture through the ice. It's it's a big term. It's called frictional convergence, where it gets through, and then I know you love that stuff, and then you get a little bit of lake effect snow, but nothing like we would see if the lake were wide open. So if you want the lake effect snow machine to almost shut off, you want that lake frozen.
Okay, so do we suspect that it would be completely?
Well, it went
happen.
20% increase yesterday,
That's
and
pretty
we're 3 below right now. I'd imagine that number is going to be close to 70% tomorrow,
Wow.
and we don't get above freezing anytime soon.
Yeah.
So, I would expect the lake to ice over, if not completely, it's going to get close, and that changes things for our spring. Because
I was just going to ask about that, like ice jamming.
ice jamming, and you got to wait for that ice to thaw out.
Yeah.
Most of it does melt in place, but we'll have the ice jams because our creeks are definitely going to be frozen, and it will change things in the spring when we get that first big warm up.
It's such a journey.
Yeah, and then like our spring will not start as soon in Buffalo because right next to us there's a giant ice cube.
Right, sure. Great point.
Danielle says, I don't want
10,000 square
anybody-
mile ice cube. Yeah.
Danielle doesn't want anybody complaining about heat and humidity when we get to the
Seriously.
summertime. Let's just bask in it. Let's just enjoy.
Let's
when the
remember
time
this day in
comes.
January
Well, but
where we
like-
all made it.
Can I be honest with you? I'm usually the guy who runs hot.
Yeah, I'm surprised you don't have a jacket on.
I'm
He's
freezing
a fan
right
under
now.
here for the most part.
Yes.
I have a jacket covering my legs.
Yeah,
from
I was
freezing.
cold.
It's cold in here today,
Mhm.
but where was I going with this?
You were going to be honest with us, and I was shocked.
Really
Oh,
rough.
yes. I walked out of the house this morning. I took NyQuil before I went to bed last night, and it still hasn't
It's
worn
still
off.
hitting.
Oh,
I didn't think it was that cold,
here
but
we
I
go.
guess like if you're standing outside for a
When you
while,
left this morning, you didn't think.
I mean, I thought it was
that
cold, but I wasn't like, oh, it's so
Did
bad
you have snow
outside.
in your car still or no?
Well, I parked in the garage too, which I guess is the problem.
So
but
I had to stand
I'm
outside
a little
and
bougie.
he's a little bouge. I was taking like the snow off the car, and I was like, you know what, this might be the end of my life. Like this might be the end. Like I might have hit my max on temperatures that I
But,
can withstand.
Do you know what I mean though? Like you walk outside from like the house to the car, you're like, it's cold. It's Buffalo. It's winter.
I thought the walk
I
from
felt
the
that way
car
yesterday a little.
to the station was really cold, and I was like, okay. Then I got in, and I saw it was wind chill was 15, 16 degrees below zero. So no, I definitely thought it was harsh. This
Really?
morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yesterday was cool because we saw really cool temperatures yesterday.
Yeah.
Yes, I felt this way yesterday a little bit. When I came home, I was letting the dog out and she was like going a little better. And I was like, okay, this doesn't feel as bad. You know, it's still like, what was yesterday? Like high of 12.
Yeah, I think 13 was the high
But
yesterday.
the difference between 12, 13, and 1
Yeah, no, that's a good
is
point.
huge. Like when I really felt that when I started the day today.
Yeah, it's the wind, and I mean we had the snow coming down, and now it's cold outside. So just be prepared. This is the coldest weather we've had in almost 6 years, and you're going to feel it. That cold weather advisory is in effect until 11 a.m. this morning. So just be smart, use common sense when you head out the door this morning, be it yourself, your children, or your pets.
Joyce says, crazy birds were waiting for the feeders. I bring them inside
Gosh,
at night.
are the
I'll
birds
fold back up in
okay?
the morning. Seriously.
Brr.
Patty says sometimes the damp cold feels colder. That's true.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like 35 and like rainy. That's when my bones really hurt. Like I'm not.
Yeah.
A lot of times my neck will hurt
bones
in
hurt.
this cold. Well, yeah. Well, you wait. And it doesn't really feel. I can move it today, so that's good.
Kim, this is true. My dog came in limpy because his paws were
Oh.
frozen. Then he beelined to the heat duct. He's
Mhm.
smart. Yeah, and like poor little Gladys, she looks at you with her little paw. Like she just picks it up and she stops. It's just like, will you help me?
Yeah, once I pick Reese up, she just looks at me like, I can't do this by
Right.
myself.
That is tough.
Also-
It is so difficult this time of year with
Linda's
with
cracking me up with this one. Just thinking about many years ago when we had outhouses, we'd be like the dogs.
Yeah.
I know.
Imagine?
Oh my
Our
god.
grandparents are laughing at us right now.
Well, but everything there would be frozen
No.
also, so you'd have like a poopsicle.
God. Ew. That sounds
Boy, that
horrible.
NyQuil is working. I'm not
Over
cold,
that.
and
It's
here
true.
are some new
No, I am
terms.
freezing right now. I will be
Okay.
totally honest with you. I am cold.
It is.
It's chill. And where I work in the other studio, there's no lights. So you have these that warm you up a little. I
Yeah.
like literally was looking for a space heater this morning, which
Yeah.
by the way, I couldn't.
I have one at my desk if you need one.
Oh,
Shannon
okay.
has one also. You can probably steal one from her
Mhm.
office.
Isn't it locked?
I doubt it.
No. Nah.
Listen, we're all friends here.
Really?
We encourage stealing.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm moving around. I'll be fine.
Kelsey says, meanwhile, my father-in-law is currently out on the ice, willingly nuts. See, and like the ice fishermen, do they go out today?
I would think. I mean, the ice is getting nice and thick,
Yeah.
especially in the inner harbor. We saw all those little ice huts.
What are they fishing
So,
for?
perch,
Fish?
I think.
Fishing?
They're-
Like in the ice. Yeah, like they
Yeah.
have the little tents. You
That's
know what I'm
someone's
talking about?
job?
Like people will
no,
actually
that's
do
their
that.
hobby. That's
Yeah.
what they like to
They're
do.
doing this by choice?
By choice. Perch, I believe, is the big catch. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I
They
think
throw it
that's what they
back?
like. No, dude, they fry them up.
Yeah, they eat them.
Oh, well, at least, you're getting
It's
something.
like farm to table.
Yeah, literally farm to table,
Hunter-gatherer.
lake to table, hunter gatherer. Yeah, it's in our DNA.
It's not for me.
No?
Kathy says my
Not
house
my
is
thing.
69 degrees, hoodies at the ready if needed. That
Did
was,
everyone's furnace go all night? I feel like my bill is going
Oh.
to be a mortgage payment.
right?
I don't know what happened in my apartment overnight, but I woke up and my apartment was at 61 degrees. My dog's shivering. I'm shivering. Like my water bottle was freezing cold.
Jeez.
Bad. That
I don't
is
know what
chilly.
happened. Maintenance is going to be getting a call from me as soon as
An
it gets
angry
fixed.
call. You might want to have
What?
Ed call him.
I know. Right? I'm just gonna go have him handle it.
So I want to know if you get a chance, you have like a thermometer that like an indoor outdoor one that you don't have to go outside, or your car one. Let us know what your temperature is, because we're looking at all those temperatures and they are well below zero across the area, especially over the southern tier. Some spots around 15 to 16 degrees below zero, like Limestone. Wondering who's the coldest this morning. So right now, Limestone at 16 below zero.
Is
That's
it
crazy.
cold enough where how you see videos of people in like Minnesota and stuff in Canada? They do like boiling water outside and it
Oh yeah, it'll
freezes.
freeze. Yeah, you can
If
do
you,
it.
if you pour boiling water, it'll freeze.
Can you try that?
I'm not doing that.
What if we just took hot water from like the water thing?
Go
If you threw it out
ahead.
there, it
Well,
would freeze?
I'll record you with my phone. They've been wanting me to do that for years.
Your phone is like
But-
ancient. Your phone is from like 2000.
Wait, why won't you do it?
Because
Just want to stand outside.
it's minus 15-degree wind chill out there. I don't have to do that to tell you how cold it is. Oh, you're gonna plant that idea in somebody's head.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
gonna happen. We're
Just
gonna
wait
do
till
it.
tomorrow.
Yeah, when you throw it up, it'll like steam away, and yeah. But yeah, I have to boil some water. I guess we do have hot water over here. I have a little bowl. I guess I could do
This
that.
water's not hot
Science
enough.
Experiment. It's
No,
not
that
hot
water.
enough, you don't
I
think?
use my oatmeal in that.
Oh,
It's
really?
hot. Yeah.
The tea I made this morning was not.
Oh, maybe you got the cold batch, and then I got the warm
I
batch.
primed
Yeah.
the pump for
Yes,
you.
you
Water
primed it for
fountain
me.
out there. Does that do hot water? The one by the bathrooms.
Yes, but
Yeah, but
also not very hot.
Like
Ooh.
sometimes you're like you have to hit both buttons,
Yeah.
and you're like, I'm hitting both, and you
hot
put your finger in it, it's
water.
like it's still lukewarm.
Yeah, I don't
They gotta microwave it.
Okay,
Um,
we'll do some science experiments.
yes.
We'll get back to you guys. We'll let you know how to.
Joyce
Our
says,
troubles in the morning.
those poor garbage guys. Yeah, and in some places,
Some pla-
especially like Cheektowaga,
Yeah.
I think we were talking
They
about.
kind of scooted theirs to the next day.
I thought that was
so
very nice of them
Thursday, Friday,
because
Friday,
that is tough. And
A break.
if you're out for 30 minutes or less, you could get frostbite. I mean, we were talking about just the walk in. I could feel my cheeks were cold. It took a while for those to warm up. So 30 minutes or less frostbite, especially over the southern tier this morning.
Okay, good to know. All right,
Got cold
Aaron.
cheeks.
Okay, guys.
Thank you.
You bet. It's my
Bye, big
pleasure.
guy.
Okay,
Talking about this
so
morning.
let's talk about the story about the missing kids that everyone
Yeah.
was talking about this morning. Yesterday, this time, we told you about how there were 2 kids from Buffalo, a 7-year-old and a 12-year-old, who were missing.
Yeah. Ed wrote
And-
this story on Instagram, and we talked about this all morning long.
Yeah.
A lot of people, obviously, of course, sending their prayers, and we were trying to figure things out. It was confusing. We were like, are these kids together? Where are they? It turns out they left this Connors Children's Center on Delaware Avenue and then walked 4.5 miles, and they
Right.
were found at an apartment on Langfield. They're still being evaluated. We believe that they're safe and okay, but so many questions as to
How this happened.
How this happened? Like, what went on here?
Okay, so they escaped from this house, and I use escaped lightly because like they weren't like under lock and key, they weren't handcuffed,
Yeah,
they
and
weren't
they're
like
7 and 12.
right, exactly.
You know?
But this house is for children who have some issues,
Mhm.
and they need to be handled. So how did they get out of this house at such a young age at 6:45 at night on Monday?
What's
And then
the surveillance?
right, how does
what's
this
the procedure
happen?
there? I just don't. I don't think I've ever heard of anything like this happening
Ever.
in
with
Buffalo
children.
and with children. So when you hear, oh, 2 kids are missing, you really never know what the circumstances are. But they went missing from a home where their parents left them to be taken care of.
Anita wonders, are we positive they walked that far? Like, however they got that far, they got that far.
We don't know exactly how they got there, but they were at least 4.5 miles away from where they were supposed to be.
Julie says that children's center is in the mud big time. Don't they have alarms on the doors? Great question.
We
and
really don't know.
the statement that they sent us from Children and Family Services was kind of embarrassing.
Well, it was very, we'll work to do better next time.
It was like, right. And that, I was going to say it a little bit differently. Like it was, whoops.
It felt like that, right?
Yeah.
I'll pull it up here so we can read it to you so you can see what you think. They say, we contacted Buffalo Police Department, recognizing the urgency of the situation. Child and Family Services will review this incident to determine how the children were able to leave and make appropriate changes to prevent a similar incident from happening in the future.
Whoops.
Like, we'll work on it.
All right. We'll be better next time.
Something happened, but
Lauren wondering whose apartment this was. And I have no idea.
also wondering.
But police obviously did a door knock. They were able to find these 2 kids. And I spoke to Nova's mom. Nova was the 7-year-old. And I'll tell you how this happened after the sound. But I want you to listen to exactly what she had to say because she's calling for some accountability. Listen. I'm missing.
Connor's not doing their job. She was at a placement and there's at a faculty and she ran away with another child. Why weren't the staff paying more attention to them, knowing that kids like that AWOL feel like they're failing as a faculty for what they're supposed to be doing for these children?
Okay, so mom says that Araya, who is the 12-year-old, had been talking about leaving in the past. But when I asked police about that, they said that they had heard that, one of the children had a tendency to run away.
And if you know this,
Right. Like, then there's a problem. So how did this happen? Why, what heads are going to spin here? What are they doing now to make sure this doesn't happen in the future? I mean, these poor kids are out of their house. They have some behavioral issues is what, this home is for.
Right.
And now a 7 and a 12-year-old are teaming up together to leave. And it's like, who's there to stop this from happening?
And if you're a parent who knows your child is there, I'm assuming there's a level of trust there, right? I sent my kid over to Connors and I expect that they'll be safe.
Right.
They'll be able to get the treatment and the care that they need. And, hopefully they'll be able to come home. But, you get a notification, hey, your kid is walking on the street. We saw surveillance footage of them on Main Street and it's, below 0 temperatures. It's horrifying.
So Mark says, how long after they left did they find out that they left? So the pictures, the surveillance video that the police have showed them about 6:45 walking around. But then that 911 call came in about a half hour later, about 7:15.
Yeah. And
So
they were found at 10
the next
yesterday
morning, right? And then Kim says they said that they were questioning 2 adults from the home where they found them, or was it the home where they were placed? I think it's the home where they found them, is what it seemed to me,
That's what
but
yeah.
I don't want to speculate here.
Yeah,
but
we're not really sure. It really is just such a interesting, kind of wild situation.
yeah, it's so bizarre. And your heart goes out to this family, both families, because what mom told me when I spoke with her yesterday, and again, I wanted to get into how this happened. Mom told me she was afraid that her daughter would end up dead, frozen someplace because it was so cold last night, 2 nights ago. But we knew that this press conference I told you was going to happen at 9:30 yesterday morning. It did, and we asked all the questions that you guys had been talking about, and that I was discussing with you. But mom and another woman were sitting together in the lobby, and I saw police talking with them, and that doesn't happen often. And so I was just kind of standing there with our photographer, Rob, and of course he's talking, and because Rob's a stalker.
Yeah.
But we love him. And then I'm trying to listen, just eavesdrop a little bit because I'm a little nosy and I want to know what's going on. And I'm like, holy cow, this is mom.
Mm-hmm.
So I sat down with her and I'm like, hey, can we chat really quick? Like, I think it's really important that we hear
from you.
Yeah, like the nuance of what's going on here. And she laid it out. And to her credit, I mean, she really was able to tell us, this is what's going on, this is what's not happening, and this is what I want done. So Lynn wondering, is this foster care? No, it's not. It's a child and family services home. It is a place where these kids go
if they have like emotional or behavioral issues. That's what was said. Yeah.
I know. And then Lynn also wanted to suggest topics for Second Cup. Lynn, I would love to hear.
Rob is awesome.
He is great. He's very
I
talented.
love Rob.
But Lynn, I would love to hear what your suggestions are. And then Kathy says, oh no, this happens way more all over the country. Are they short-staffed? Great question.
Yeah.
And then here's the other thing. I asked the police what their biggest concern was outside of weather at that point. And, they kind of hemmed and hawed a little bit. And the mayor had to step in and be like, well, you've seen the news lately. And well, what are you trying to say here?
Yeah.
Like human trafficking? And they're like, well, yeah, it was bad. But they stopped short of saying that.
Right?
Yeah.
Like it's so scary. And, they say they're going to work on it and make sure something doesn't happen like this again.
Right.
But I think there are so many more questions about
100%.
still how this happened. We do, of course, want to find out and make sure that the girls are okay.
Because they were being evaluated at hospital
they were
before
being
going back
out,
there.
But what?
Kathy, how many children live there? Great question. We don't know. And then Marlene says there's probably just not enough staff to watch. Same thing happens in nursing homes. I know. I was actually thinking the same thing.
That's actually a really great point. Yeah. Our most vulnerable adults and children out here. And then Peter asked, why didn't an Amber Alert go off? BPD not authorized to send out Amber Alerts. That goes through
the State Department of Criminal Justice Services.
Yeah, so they did send out missing children alert, missing child alert. So that's the max that they can do for Buffalo Police. But
one step below an Amber Alert. And really an Amber Alert, and I think I misspoke yesterday actually, an Amber Alert used when there's an abduction. But, to me, when they're in imminent danger, as they said in the release, then something should be done.
Yeah.
Right. And so I asked Chris Scanlon about that, the mayor. I'm like, is there a policy change that needs to be made here? And he kind of said yes. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Anyway.
A lot to dig into.
Excuse me. Lynn says, human trafficking is huge in our area. It's horrifying, especially around the Galleria and the falls. That is so scary. Either way, it's unacceptable. Shauna says, right. That's it.
Yeah. Can't happen.
Well, no, Anita, no. Anita, no. I asked what the concern was, and I'm not putting it out there as a fact. I asked the question, what is your concern?
No idea. We didn't even know where they were at that point.
Right.
So it's what could they have been taken? We saw them walking. We have no idea what's going on here.
There's a reason why you ask these questions, to rule things out. We're not putting it out there as fact. I was simply asking the question. I think we just need to understand that that's our job as reporters. We have to push politicians for answers, and we can't be afraid to ask the questions that need to be asked.
And if they're coming up and doing a press conference, right, and wanting us to share all this information, we want to have all the information before we tell you guys, hey, here's what you need to know about this.
Right. So anyway, we got to get the show on the road. So have a great day.
See you guys later.